We did that. We drove the narrative. We created that content. And that was several months ago. Now we're still using this video that we created to take on in the primaries, the Republican rhinos. And we have created content that they're going to have to answer to. Okay, you voted for Joe Straus for Speaker of the House. Why? Because your constituents were saying no. And you said that you had to vote for him because you pledged to him and you were such a great person and you weren't going to break your word. Well, that was 2 years ago, and what's happening on the ground today is different. And your constituents are saying, we don't want you to vote for Joe Straus. And you did. And the conservative rating that comes out of a lot of think tanks in Texas has lowered their rating because you voted for Joe Straus. And the grassroots people have this content and they're saying, don't vote for Joe Straus. I think we need to take you out of office. We have that power. Like I said before, I'm not any different than any of you. I was a mom and a real estate agent. I just took the step. I was frustrated. And I just did what I could do to make a difference. Next. It's interesting because and this will be a quick story, but we had a email that came out of a Tea Party leader in Texas actually talking about what Rick Santorum spoke about last night, a 2001 speech that Rick Perry gave on the border where he talked about in-state tuition for illegal immigrants. And that story came from an email that came from Joanne Fleming. I posted it on my Facebook and Twitter after I wrote it in a blog on libertylinked.com. I posted it. The next day, Red State picked it up. I posted Red State's article. It's not all just about posting your articles or your blogs. You need to take other content and aggregate that, build on the story, keep the story going. Red State picked it up. The next day, I got a call from the Dallas Morning News, and they wanted a statement on what I thought about Rick Perry running for the presidency and this issue of illegal immigrants getting in-state tuition. That article ran. I aggregated that story. And then that story was in the presidential debate. It wasn't about me driving that narrative as an individual. It came from Joanne Fleming. It went to all of her membership. It went to the hundreds of Tea Party leaders across the state that posted it on their blogs and their sites. I just happened to be one of those people that's seen as a connected authority. And it gets picked up. It's not about me driving the narrative. It's about all of us driving the narrative and holding these elected officials accountable. Next. One of the other things that can be key for your communications team is when you have an event, you can control the media as well coming into your event. It's funny because, you know, politicians and these elected officials, they control when the media gives them interviews. You can control that as well. You have a media room in your at your event, and when they come and they want to interview Tea Party people, you videotape that interview. So whatever they write, you can counter it and you can push it out through your membership in the local area. So you need to, this communications team needs to create the content, push the content, and control the media at the local level, covering you as a local group. Next. In Florida, there's some great bloggers, and on libertylinked.com, we can set up a bloggers brigade so that you're connected and you're sharing content at the state level. And Anita and I now are going to take some questions, and we're going to really try to help you drill down if there's questions that you have, or we can give you answers to different things that you can do at the local level. Any questions? Yes.
So tell us how you feel about Rick Perry as president, especially after last night's debate.
Well, we'll keep talking. I'll just say that my point was proven. Yes, sir.
You talked about when you first started off, just apply for media pass and not access. How exactly do you go about doing that? Is there some kind of credential you have initially, or you have to go through what steps it take to actually do that? And once you got them, is it pretty much universal that you have media pass in, or is it for every event you went to now to continue to reapply for it?
No, you have to continue to reapply for it. And you can, now what's happening, and Anita can talk to this more, but at these events, like today at C-PAC, you've got a blogger's pass. You can get a blogger's pass and be in the media room. So why don't you talk about that?
One of the best things you can do, especially when you're first starting out, is to be visible. So it's good to know what conservative conferences are coming up, which ones you can attend, especially if they're in your local area. And sometimes you can get scholarships to attend the ones that are far out. But go on the website and you can do registration for it. Well, I know FreedomWorks sponsored the C-PAC Bloggers Lounge last year, and they had a list that everyone could just sign up and get on. That gave you free Wi-Fi access to the candidates, and a little bit of credibility. And the more that you're out there at these conferences and your face is being seen and people are understanding that you are a serious blogger, the more access you get. But it's really about taking that first step and starting to look and see what events, and it doesn't just have to be conferences, but press events. And if you're at in a place where you could actually go to the State House and try to request access, I would do that as well. Go down there and cover the local meetings that are going on and get known in your area. Once you're known in your area, it's very easy to make your mark nationally.
And when you have events, when your organization has events, set up a bloggers row. Set up a media where people have to register as media to cover your events as well at the local level. And that gives your local people a good taste of, you know, a start, stepping out to be a blogger and taking it out.
I want to say something real quick. So this slide, usually when this is earlier in the presentation and you don't have to click on it, but I just want to say the impact that you guys can have as individuals is unbelievable. Now this is perfect case scenario. We see the 200 grassroots groups in the state of Florida, and so they say they pick up something. Each one of those groups has, call it 100 active members every 10,000 or million, like that. Looks like more 100 active members. They all post that. We just got the communication to make sure that people are posting that, and then they just reached out and had 200. You know, they put it on their Facebook page, or each person liked it to their Facebook page. Either one. The impact of this thing is unbelievable, and it goes beyond the geography that you're in at that point, because you know our Facebook friends are across the country, and so it just. You know, just doing this right, aggregating, paying attention to how you're doing it, the ability to have an enormous impact is just amazing by one person's communication. So, and this is a perfect world scenario, but some subset of it. I mean, you know, if your little story only touches 1 million people, aren't you sad?
Think about it this way. When you're watching Fox News and you're looking at the O'Reilly factor, it's maybe going to get a reach of 2.7 million people. By doing it this way, you're reaching double that, and you're getting out there to people that are not paying attention to certain news outlets, because not everyone watches Fox, not everyone watches CNN. And when the mainstream media starts stealing from bloggers and not quoting them, then you know that we're effective. They're taking us seriously because they're coming to us for the content, not the other way around. So this is a new day for us, and you're going to see this more in 2012, that bloggers are going to get unprecedented access, especially on the campaign trail.
The most important part of this is coming from a trusted source. I call it, I'm a technology guy. The technology is not the answer. It's facilitate the relationship, what we want to do. This narrative comes with what I call the relationship bridge. It's a bridge because I listen to people that know me, listen to me. Nobody else really does. to have that relationship, we can provide to people, we listen to people that we know and like. So most of these are relationships. So if you people who carry, many times better than something that's on the news.
The other great thing about this is a lot of times a big story happens and it's huge and it's a big crisis. Well, we have crisis every day now. And it's a big story and it goes in the black hole of the media.
Yes.
Through this method, we can control that narrative continually getting out on a regular basis. I want Maria Espinoza to wave to everybody. This is Maria Espinoza. She's with, I can't see because this light is right into, oh, Tim's here. Okay, sorry, that light's shining right on me. They have a project called the Stolen Lives Quilt. And Maria was involved in a press conference that happened on Monday before this debate last night, calling on Governor Perry to come back to Texas to take care of the issues about sanctuary cities. And if you go to the remembranceproject.org, that's their organization. The reason I want y'all to know about that project, but this press conference on Monday happened and we pushed that out and got it to where the mainstream media had to cover that issue. They don't want to cover that issue. Well, we know that it was brought up last night in the debate. That's where I'm telling you, it's amazing. I know Joanne Fleming, who was the lead on that conference, has been getting calls from the mainstream media. Now, here's the point. That happened, the debate was last night, it's a big story. But now, all of you know about that press conference happened. And if something happens later on in the campaign, and immigration is a big issue, you know that content has already been created. There's a press conference that happened in Texas on Monday before the debate. If something's going on in Florida, you know that you can go grab that content and use it for your purposes in your local area if something happens. And that's that bloggers brigade that is going to be developed on libertylinked.com. That's a way for people from state to state to take those narratives and continue them going on where it's not just a big story. Yes, ma'am.
Example of what you're saying is a little bit different, but I lived in Florida, but I have a lot of friends in D.C. So about a year ago when we had this metro crash, I had put on Facebook, I hope all my friends are okay that I had on the metro. And I was surprised because so many responses, I have almost 5,000 Facebook friends, so many people Facebook me saying, you're kidding, what happened? Oh my gosh, I'm thinking, I learned about it from a friend actually, to see anything on the internet, and I'm thinking, even they're not going to say it. So
how many of you actually sit and watch the news like you used to a year ago? Even Fox News. Where do you get your news? From the internet. From the internet. When there's something like that happening in Texas, when the fires were happening a couple of weeks ago, I was on Twitter following what was going on in Twitter, finding content to aggregate on Facebook, and then also to create those blog posts on libertylinked.com. And I'll tell you, when I have a story, like I wrote about Maria and posted her video yesterday or the day before, I put it on libertylinked.com, that blog that I have. I put it on voicesempower.com, my WordPress site, and then I was a real estate agent and blogger, and I have a huge network on Active Rain. So I also put it on there. And one thing that I want to talk about, one of the great things about libertylinked.com, if you go to a social media training, what the big gurus are going to tell you is they go on new technology platforms to put their content. because you don't have the competition. If you just post something on Facebook and on Twitter and on LinkedIn and on your blog, it's, well, not on your blog, but on those sites, you've got millions of people that are putting in those same keywords. If you post it on Liberty Linked, where it's a network of blogs, so it's not just your standalone blog, but it's a network of blogs, and you're putting it there, when those Google crawlers come crawling, it's going to pick up your stuff if you're daily putting blog posts on libertylinked.com. And then those keywords in your local area at the state level and at the national level, it's going to be your stories that rise, not the left's. You are going to control those keywords. If you put in pledge card system, Joe Straus in Texas, I can guarantee you one of my articles is going to be at the top half of the page.
And a word to the wise on that, as you start to increase with Google Juice, you're also going to catch the attention of the mainstream media.
Right.
Like Joanne Fleming. Here's some advice. When dealing with them, make sure that you keep a record of everything. When I had to, when we did War Against the New York Times, the public editor, Clark Hoyt, came out and he wanted to investigate the situation. So he had a series of questions he wanted me to answer. So imagine putting my credibility up against the public editor of the New York Times. So I had him send the questions over to me in email. And I answered each one in email and sent them back to him. So there would be no discrepancy as to what I said and what he printed. When you can't have email questions, to make sure that you have someone that is recording the interview, because the left is desperate. They will take what you say, splice it up, and make you say something else. So just make sure that you're aware that you have to protect yourself when dealing with the mainstream media.
In any interview that you do, whether it's on the phone, it's better to do it through email, but video or record it. Anytime anyone talks to you from the media, record that conversation.
And you can let them know you're recording it too. It doesn't have to be secret.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be secret. And if they don't like that, that tells you something.
No interview.
Yes, ma'am.
Post a story. Do you repost the entire thing, or do you just cite it? How exactly do you do that?
I do it different ways for different, like Anita and I have a relationship where I will take complete stories from emergingcorruption.com and post them on Voices in Power and on libertylinked.com. That's one of the benefits, and I'm glad you brought this up. It's one thing to have your communications team, handle things locally, but you want to create relationships with other bloggers at the local level, state level, and national level. So when Anita has a story on emerging corruption, I'll post it on my blog and reference it back and say this is cross-posted from Anita Moncrief's Emerging Corruption. And she does the same thing. And you're right, that's raising your Google juice as well. There's another great blog out of Texas, Agenda Wise, and they're doing a series right now on ascension and basically what's going to happen in Texas if Perry wins and Dewhurst wins. That could be very dangerous for Texas and what happens in our legislative session next time. So I take their blog posts and cross-post them. Now it's interesting because what can happen is they may have a piece of the story, but I may have another piece to the story. And so I put theirs, and then I put that next piece. It's interesting. We cover the Gulen schools a lot in Texas, and go read about it. It'll really scare you. Yes. But Donna Garner, she's a great writer in Texas. She wrote an article on the Gulen schools. I sent it out to my connections with different blogs. There's another great site, fosterfreeze.com, and they have access to in-depth researchers. So Foster Freeze's team took that blog post that Donna did. They completely took it from a different angle, just as important, but they had history. Go read about the Gulen schools, because there are some key Republicans who are involved in and Democrats too. Gulen schools are run by Gulen. He's a fundamentalist Islamic, Gulen. But Foster Fries's team took that story and completely put a whole different angle on it. Then, agenda-wise, this group from Texas did a story on it. All that cross-posting is creating Google juice for you. And especially if you were the first one that started that blog post. More questions?
Hey, I just wanted to add something to what her question about the links. Something important to remember is that links are the currency, if you will, of online. The more links that you have back to your article, the higher your Google juice goes up. And so it's actually something that people are very open to is using, cross-posting and using excerpts from their blogs because it helps them. It makes their Google juice go up.
Right.
With
you want to give attribution.
But the links.
Another little trick of the trade, if you will. Whenever you go to events like today and you get those great pictures with different people, with Andrew Breitbart, with Anita Moncrief, post those pictures on Flickr. Now, on Flickr, you can't buy or sell anything on Flickr, but in the comments section, or not the comments, in the description section on Flickr, you can describe that event and you can link back to your site, but then also make that picture a common share creative. And so people can use that picture in their blog posts from the event that you were at, but they have to give attribution. So they can use the picture, but they have to give attribution. And we know now that the mainstream media is covering bloggers. They're following what we're doing. It's very likely if you're at a key event and you get a major picture and they get that off of your Flickr site and they have to give attribution to you, whew, your Google juice is going to go way high. So that's another trick. Everywhere you go, take pictures, take pictures, take pictures, and put it out there for people to use and other bloggers.
And it really is true that a picture is worth 1,000 words. I mean, I don't remember the actual statistic, but it goes so up when you have a picture there because people will actually, take a second to, breeze through your article as opposed to if it's just black and white text. They kind of like, I don't want to bother my time with that.
Yes.
I'm sorry, could you explain again about the links, putting that back in? I'm confused on that.
Well, for instance, when Anita has a story on emerging corruption, I will put the story in mine, and then I'll put cross-posted, and you hyperlink it.
And I do believe that the actual rule on that, and they have a relationship, and so they know that they trust each other to use the whole story. But I think that the actual rule is there's 3 paragraphs. The first, or any 3 paragraphs plus the link is like the maximum that you're allowed to do.
Right, right. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
I have a question. So technically, what do you carry around with you? The camera, your tape recorder, a microphone, or do you just carry a smartphone?
I started out with just a smartphone. That's all I could afford. We're all on budgets. So I would carry my smartphone around, and it's great because I could be at an event and upload it to YouTube and give attribution to my site all from my smartphone. It's amazing. The other thing is when you have an event or there's something going on in your local area or there's a press conference going on that you know about and you've got your membership who's following your communications team and they know that the communications team is at that event, you can be tweeting out and giving information. It's kind of like following a sports event. You can do that on Facebook and on Twitter and create the buzz about an event and just keep posting on Facebook. Yes, sir.
If you're going to an event and you're just using your phone or video camera, means you upload your video basically in real time so that if someone grabs your phone and snaps on it, it still stays on it?
Oh, yeah. You can upload it to Facebook. You can upload it to YouTube. Yeah, you can do that in real time.
And the other thing about real time too is when you're covering an event and you see something happen and you're tweeting about it live, or you're uploading pictures to Facebook or something. If you see that they've kind of spun the story and covered it in their own way, then you have that documented that you were there, and you can continue to push that narrative out. That's attach what you already did, and then say, I was there, and this is not correct. So
it's interesting. We had an event where we had we were controlling the media, and we had a local media guy saying that they aren't giving us access to these Tea Party people. Well, we were giving them access. We were just controlling the interview and videotaping it. So then I tweeted out a picture of him interviewing. And what you're doing is you're also marginalizing, which is what he was trying to do to us. We marginalized him and said, no, you're not telling the truth. So attacking that way, and not in a, you're not attacking the person, you're attacking the lie that he just told. So, yes, ma'am.
Yes, actually, late. I got late.
Okay.
Y'all are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You do it.
Oh, thank you very much. If you go to, for me, you can go to voicesempower.com. I'm in Texas. Voices, VOICES, Empower, EMPOWER.com, and all my contact information is there. Anita?
You can reach me through emergingcorruption.com.
Emerging Corruption, EMERGING Corruption, CORUPTION. Alice Linehan, Alice, ALICE, Linehan, LINAHAN, and Anita Moncrief, MONCRIEF, and Jenny.
JENNY at libertylinked.com.
Yes, Jenny's with libertylinked.com.
JENNY.
Mm-hmm.
At Liberty Lane?
Mm-hmm. LINKED.com.
Is that S?
With an ED, it's past tense, libertylinked.com.
Mm-hmm.
What is your main political website?
Me? Well, voicesempower.com, I have articles. And then I post on libertylinked.com mainly, and then also my real estate. And then I help communications teams come up with ideas of creating content at the local level.
We've been on a tour going across state of Florida, working with grassroots groups, and it's a variety of organizations. We kind of started a precinct up and help people with organizing at a precinct level in their neighborhoods, and then go to engagement teams, election, voter integrity. Anita's has an urban outreach that she's doing as part of the project as well. So we're in Florida more than we're in Texas.
And if your group or organization would like for us to come out and do a hands-on, for instance, in Texas on the 1st, I'm doing a 4-hour training where the first half, they're bringing in a lot of their membership, and we're just making sure that they're on Facebook and Twitter and their privacy settings are set up. It's interesting. When I go and speak to a lot of these groups and organizations, the demographic is 55 and older. And a lot of people are scared to death of the internet. Those are the people that know the truth. Those are the people that know the battle that we're fighting, and those are the ones that are showing up at the meetings. But the conversation is happening. So in Texas, too, we're partnering with the University of Texas at Tyler, and we're doing a workshop where we're working with students, young students, are helping the older generation just get on Facebook and Twitter, and the older generation is they're helping the students with the content and the truth and deciphering the propaganda. So we're setting up this mentor. So if you'd like for us to come out and do trainings for your group, we're more than happy to do that. Or if you just want to call and get ideas, you know, if you're setting things up, please feel free to give me a call.
And I think something too important to point out is, you know, we've got Liberty Linked where, you know, we kind of encourage everybody to organize on, you know, on our side, because it's dangerous to organize on Facebook because it's technology that's pretty much owned by the left. I mean, it's really scary. I mean, they frequently.
It is.
Mark Zuckerberg's sister, who's community manager, is a migrant.
And she frequently.
Liberty Council in the state of Ohio had their whole Facebook shut down. Empower Texas 2 weeks ago had their Twitter feed shut down. I mean, there's countless stories. You need to be on Facebook. You need to evangelize there. But you don't want to organize there. You just need to know that group could disappear. You need to operate that.
And a perfect point about that is Alice herself. I mean, she started posting some stuff, and I mean, she always posts stuff, but when she put this stuff out there about Perry, her account was gone for a couple days. I mean, they can just turn it off, and you have no say on it.
And that's my big thing is, I'm not afraid to put content out there, but I'm now a target, and so they'll shut me down. So I need all of you to take that content and push it out, to go to emergingcorruption.com and follow what's going on there and push that content out. There could be stories that come out leading up to the election that are huge breaking stories like Anita's, that are game changers, that unless we have this ground game, these communications teams and the memberships.
Okay, I still have some very high-level friends on the left that communicate with me, and they will not admit it. And Perry, as a former Democrat, can be wounded. They want him to get the nomination. As you've seen, if you watch any liberal program, they're always talking about Perry. They're pushing Perry down our throats right now. But in all honesty, if he gets the nomination, I don't think he will win. I think they have enough dirt on him that they're going to get him out of there very quickly.
Romney's the best choice.
Yeah, Romney doesn't have anything in the background, and actually that's the one that they're afraid of the most, getting a nomination. They can't take him out.
He's not electable.
So when you see the mainstream media push the candidate that hard, you have to wonder why. It's because that would be the Obama dream matchup right there. Any other questions? Thank you guys so much for spending.
Thank you all so much.